All right. So good morning, everybody. My name is Kristen. We are all gathering here at Elle Studio and Wellness for Awaken Yoga this morning. So what I'd like you to do before we get started is just make sure that you have all of your tools that you need. We're not doing anything specific today. So the tools that I offered in the email are more to support your practice as you know that you need to be supported moving through it. So I have a blanket with me. I recommended 2 blocks. If you don't have any blocks at home, you can use pots that have a little bit of height to it. Maybe some books, although pots are a little bit more portable, so I recommend pots. And then a chair, if that is something that you know that you need. So if you're in pre or postnatal, if you have limited flexibility, if you have blood pressure concerns, chairs are a really good thing to have in your toolkit, okay? So I would like for you to take a seat, maybe up in the chair if you're using a chair today, maybe down against the floor. Find a little bit of height here. So find some height with a blanket, with a block, with a pot. Just lift your hips away from the floor. You want some slight elevation. Turn your palms facing up, and then very gently rest your eyes. And start to feel your breath, however it's coming through this morning. Whether this is the first thing that you're doing, maybe you've been up for a little bit doing other things, whatever happened before this, let each exhale act like a broom that sweeps all of that information away. Through your palms as they're facing up in this position of reception. Feeling open to the next 45 minutes as we move and breathe. Connecting as deeply as you can to your inhale. So a lot of times in yoga, we're focusing on the balance, focusing on the exhale. But I want you to feel the slow reliability of your inhale as you bring the breath cycle through the class, through the rest of these postures. As you breathe in, see if you can find the bottom of your lungs here, bottom of the lungs. Imagine that your breath were slowly cooling down to the bottom and then filling all the way up through the middle, all the way up through the top. Really feel into the front of your lungs here. As if you could feel, not even as if, you can feel the breath rippling through the front of the body. And each time you come to the end of that inhale, see if you can creep your spine, creep your posture just a little bit higher. Feel this reaching up through the back of your skull, feel the shoulders resting down away from the ears, lengthen through the sides of the neck. And keep finding that inhale down to the bottom of the lungs, up high, underneath the collarbones. If you notice that you're breathing, this focus on your breath is starting to cool in other energetic ways. So that might look like gritting the jaw, furrowing the eyebrows. Maybe that means kind of collapsing your posture. Just relax for a moment, smooth that out. Return to natural breathing for just a moment. Reset the body, reset the mind. And then return back to this filling from the bottom all the way up. The next time you breathe in, I want you to shift your focus now to the back body, to the back of your lungs. Usually we spend a lot of time focusing on the front of the body, and sometimes we imagine the back of the body is just there to support everything that we can see. So shift your focus towards the back of your body, the back of your lungs. And as you take a deep breath in, see if you can imagine inflating just the back of your lungs. There's a slight pushing that occurs the first few times you breathe in, really letting your breath settle, bringing that focus to this area that is often somewhat overlooked. Filling the back of the lungs with air. Take a few more breaths, focusing on inflating the back of the lungs. And slide your hands off to the side the next time you breathe out. If you're up in a chair, hands onto your hips. If you're down against the floor, fingertips reaching towards the mat. Feel the subtle movements of this opening through the chest. Start through the center, feel this fanning out towards the shoulders, down the arms, down towards either the fingertips if your hands are against the mat, out through your elbows if your hands are against your hips. Feel your navel reaching in towards your spine. Notice that your spine immediately wants to curve open. See if you can resist that, pressing the root of the spine down. Navel in towards the front of the spine. So again, not a tuck, not a suck in any capacity, just this magnetized movement in and up towards itself. On the next inhale, flip the palms towards the ceiling. Gather the breath as you reach the arms out, up and overhead. As you exhale, float the hands down, shin in towards your chest. Feel your hands gently falling down towards the earth. And now start to move with your breath, reaching your fingers out to the side, up to the ceiling. As you exhale, floating the hands down, chin in towards your chest. Now continue this movement with your breath. Just listen into the sound of my voice. And keeping your eyes closed for now, I want this to be all about sensation for you. So as you start to lift your arms with the inhale, move slowly. Feel the entire structure of your arm, beginning from the middle of your chest, beginning from your sternum, even feeling into your collarbones as they spread all the way out to the shoulder. So just start to feel into the anatomy of your arms, and whether you know the words or not, just feel from your shoulder heads all the way through your fingertips. As you move in and out with your breath. So we're starting to slowly stir the energy here. The next time that you reach your arms high to the ceiling, pause again, find that magnetization, navel to spine. Press down through the root of the spine, reach high for the fingertips, And then lower your right hand down. Either hands to the hips if you're in a chair, hand against the mat if you're against the floor. Pressing down through your left hip, reaching high through your left fingertips. On the exhale, slowly tilt the left fingertips over towards the right. Keep rooting down through your left hip. And as you press your right hand either against the floor or your hip, start to spin your chest over towards the left. Deep breath in, deep breath out here. You can bend into that elbow if you're against the ground. Just keep rooting your left hip through the floor, reaching your fingers over to the side. And then bending through the left elbow. Return back to neutral, hands either against the mat or hands against your hips. On the inhale, reach the arms out, up and overhead. And then exhale, just your left hand down, look over towards your right. Root down through your right hip as you reach your right fingertips high. On the exhale, slowly tilt over towards the left. Keep rooting your right hip down. And as you press your right hand against the hip or the floor, spinning your chest open to the side. Deep breaths in, deep breaths out. At each inhale, start to peel your heart center open. Another breath in. As you exhale, lower the elbow, lower the arm, and then rise back up to neutral. Now we'll take these motions together with the rhythm of your breathing. So you don't have to listen into my cues. If you happen to look and notice that I'm moving slower or faster than you, that's totally fine. Just return to your rhythm. Your rhythm is the only thing that matters here. And I invite you to remember the full scope of your lungs as you breathe in and out. Remembering the back of your lungs in particular. Finding the whole structure, filling with air, filling with light, filling with this energy. We started stirring when our arms were lifted, and we're stirring just a little bit faster now. Keep moving with the rhythm of your breath. Reinforcing this inner metronome, reinforcing the wisdom that your body knows the way. And the next time that you exhale, let both hands rest against the floor or your hips, chin into your chest. If you're joining us in a chair, we're going to transition now down towards hands and knees against the floor. If you have sensitive knees like I do, take a blanket and then place that against the ground beneath you. Just get a little bit of padding here. Put your toes behind you, feel the tops of your feet rooting down through the floor. And then feeling your hands pressing down against the ground as well. Now, if you have sensitive hips, you may want to open this up by walking your hands forward. That'll just take that 90-degree angle out of your wrists. Again, find that magnetization, navel reaching in towards the front of your spine. Feel your shoulders rolling back along the back of the body. Feel the crown of the head reaching forward. And then feel that plane, that even plane from the crown of the head, extending all the way back out through your tailbone. Now, as you press down in towards your hands, so to feel into the center of the palm, imagine that you could feel a root system beginning to grow and lengthen down through the ground, down through the center of your palm. As you feel into this root system, as you feel your hands pressing down, start to lift high through the shoulders. So this is a very internal movement, but you want to find a little bit of a lift, almost like an internal pull, from the wrists all the way up to your shoulders. And continue to breathe in and out here. So there's a lot of tiny little constructions going on. And usually the smaller the movement, the easier it is to lose your breath. So if you've lost your breath here, just return back to it. Slight bend of the elbows, tuck through your toes. On the next inhale, lifting through the tailbone. Feel the spine ripple forward, chest opens up, pressing down into your hands to lift the crown of your head. Deep cow's breath here. Untuck the toes as you exhale. Again, starting at the tailbone, rippling the tailbone back, chin in towards your chest. Press your hands down to the floor as you lift through the center of your back for cat breath. Tuck your toes, roll through the tailbone, inhale, rolling forward and open for cow. Untuck your toes as you exhale back through cat. And now start to find your own rhythm here. Remembering to breathe through the entire structure of the lungs as you open and close, as you fold and expand. And let's start to open this structure up a little bit. So maybe swinging your hips around and back as you move through your exhale. And then forward as you move through your inhale. Just start to open up the more linear structure of this breathing. Take this into the sides of the body as well. So this may look totally different in your body than it does in my body. And that is the beauty of this. It truly doesn't matter. Just let your body move however it's asking for right now. Maybe you need to settle back for a moment and take the opposite direction. You're starting to wake up the sides of the body, wake up the experience of being in this container. All my joints are starting to crack a little bit, starting to open up. I'm welcoming that. I invite you to do the same. And then the next time that your hips reach back, we're going to rest here for a moment in a child's pose. A couple of options here. You can extend all the way out in your child's pose, knees wide, forehead to the ground. You might want to stack fist on top of fist if you need a little bit of height here. If you feel like your knees, or pardon me, feel like your hips are really high, flexibility is not quite coming to you today, just walk your fists a little bit further, and you can rest in a more lifted position. So whatever this child's pose looks like to you, take a deep breath in. Release with an exhale. Feel the gravity of the earth beneath you. And again, connect to your inhale. Feel the entire structure of your lungs filling and expanding with air. One more time. Return back to a tabletop pose, tuck the toes. And as you press into your hands, lifting your hips high, downward facing. If you have any blanket against the ground, slide that off to the side, somewhere where you can reach it if necessary. If limited flexibility is in your body today, take it to a chair. So bring the hands down to the bottom, or pardon me, to the top of the chair rather. Walk the feet under the hips, lower through the chest. If you're against the mat, hands against the floor, pedal out the heels, and this really goes for everybody. Pedal out the heels, stretch through the back of the legs, lift high onto the toes, lower the heels down towards the ground. Looking back towards your knees, take a deep breath in, feel your heart center melting towards the tops of your thighs. If you're against the ground, pressing into your pointer finger and your thumb as you roll the shoulders open. Taking a slight micro bend of the knees, lifting high through the sits bones, and this goes for whether you're against the floor or using the chair. As you exhale, root back through your heels. Feel that amazing opening happening in the backs of your legs. So whatever your flexibility looks like today, don't worry about the end result. Just feel into that glorious stretch that happens when you start to activate. Navel reaching in towards the spine, sits bones lifted, sits bones reaching away from each other. Breathing out, feeling the earth beneath you. On the next breath in, look up between your hands. Slight bend of the knees. Start to slowly walk your feet up towards your hands. Forward fold. If you're joining us in a chair, bring your hands down to the seat part of the chair. Taking a deep breath in, slight bend of your knees as you feel your torso spilling forward. Shake the head yes, shake the head no. You can keep your hands against the floor. You can reach for opposite elbows. Whichever feels best for you. You just want to get this subtle feeling, this supple feeling of the back body. So with all this focus on the back body, keep rooting down through the heels, and then feel the back of the lungs expand each time you breathe in. Release the hands down, press down through the heels. As you inhale, begin to slowly, slowly, slowly rise up and stand. Once the head lifts, arms follow, deep breath in, gather the breath, gather your wingspan into reach high. On the exhale, lower the hands all the way out, and bring the palms to heart center. Again, feel this energy that we've been stirring, that we've been cultivating, lifting from the feet all the way up through your head. On the next inhale, reach the arms high, gather the breath as you lift. On the exhale, lower down, forward fold. Now we're going to take this a few times here. Press through the heels, start to roll all the way up to stand. Once the head lifts, arms follow as you gather the breath and reach high. On the exhale, open the palms. Float the torso down, bend through the knees, forward fold. So just keep taking this, opening and closing. Again, we're making these movements through the spine, offering this movement, offering this energy into the rest of your day. And the next time that you reach your hands up high, pause. Look down at your feet, heel toe of your feet, roughly hip width distance, and you can just eyeball it. On the exhale, lower your hips down, taking a chair pose. Check in with your toes, make sure that your knees aren't too far over your toes. Make sure you can see your toes. If you can't, press your hips back. Reach your arms high, navel in towards the spine. So cultivating a little bit of this fire. Reaching back into your heels, so much so that you could lift your toes and maintain the pose, maintaining the shape. Take another deep breath in as you exhale. Float the hands down, either to the chair or down towards the floor. And then step your feet back, downward facing. So take a few moments to pedal the heels, pedal the feet. And then we're going to take this into stillness. Slight bend of the knees, a lift through the sits bones, a reach back through the heels. Feeling your heart melting down towards the top of your thighs, gaze is back past your knees. So take 5 breaths here. Take a deep breath out, exhale to clean the slate. Inhale, 1. Exhale, feel the back body. Inhale, 2. Exhale, Inhale, 3. Exhale, Inhale, 4. Exhale, Inhale, 5. Exhale, great job. Looking up between your hands, bending through the knees, walking your feet up towards your hands. Pressing into the heels, this time come into a half lift. If you're joining us on a chair, you can bring your hands back down to the seat or press your hands against your shins. We'll all place our hands against our shins if you're not using the chair. Roll your shoulders back. Again, find that even plane from the crown of the head back to the tailbone. And exhale all the way down. Pressing in towards your heels, begin to roll up, slight bend of the knees once the head lifts, arms follow. Inhale to gather the breath all the way up. And exhale, lower all the way down. Press into the heel, roll all the way up. Head lifts, arms follow. And exhale, lower down with the chest, float the hands all the way down, hold and fold. And again, start to roll all the way up. This time when you keep the arms lifted, exhale, bend into the hips. Chair pose, so returning back to this fiery activation point. Keep pressing down through the heels, pressing back through the hips, reaching up through the fingertips. Again, so much so that you might even feel your toes lift. Navel to spine. Find this lift through the fingertips, lowering back of the sits bones. Take another deep breath in. As you exhale, float forward. Hands either down to your chair, or pardon me, up to the top of the chair, or down against the floor, stepping the feet back, downward facing. Again, find that slight pedaling, find that settling into the pose of the body, and then take a deep exhale out with an HA. Inhale, 1. Exhale, Inhale, 2. Exhale, Inhale, 3. Exhale, Inhale, 4. Exhale, Inhale, 5. And exhale. Looking up between the hands. So to lift your left foot high now. So if you're joining us against the chair, just take your height as needed. This can be as high or as low as necessary. That goes for whether we're against the ground as well. So we're really focusing on reaching your left heel all the way back. So feel what happens in the negotiation here when you lift your left foot away from the floor. Sometimes you start to collapse into your side body. Resist that. Press down evenly through both hands and through your back foot. Keep pressing that left heel behind you. Take another deep breath in. As you exhale, bring your left foot towards your left hand, so behind your left hand. A little bit of a short stance here. If you're joining against the chair, just taking this exact stance, but with a lift, bringing your hands down to now the seat. Bringing your right foot behind you at an angle, heel pointing in, toes pointing out. Bring your hands to your hips, press through your front foot and lift through the top. Coming into a warrior one position. We're not quite using the arms yet. Just kind of feel into your hips here. Let this be really fluid, just creating shapes. We're not getting to any definitive destinations. So alignment will come later. Just let your body settle. So just notice if your hips are veering over towards the right, you may need to get a little bit of a wider stance. So just keep heel-toeing your left foot over until you feel like you can comfortably glide your hips forward. As you root back through your right heel, imagine you can feel again that root system coming down through your right heel. Free your left toes slightly. And then feel the root of the spine, the pelvic bowl, very gently gliding forward. On the inhale, reach the arms high. And again, you may want to keep your hands on your hips. It's a little bit more stable. If that's where you are today, go for it. Slightly gliding the left hip back, navigating the right hip forward, reaching high through the fingertips. On the next inhale, press your left foot as if through the floor, lengthen the front leg, open the side, or pardon me, the front of the body, reach the hands slightly back. As you exhale, bend into the front knee, sweep the hands behind you, look down towards the floor. Inhale, lengthen the front leg, reach the arms forward and high to the ceiling. As you exhale, bend into the front knee, look down towards the floor. Now keep taking this with your breath. Gather the breath, welcome the breath in, exhale, press it out. Take this one more time. Inhale together, and exhale to release. Bringing your hands back to your hips. Return the torso back to neutral. Now heel toe your right foot in towards your left. You're going to want to pick it up and place it. Don't do it. Just take your time. Feel the texture of the mat and the floor beneath you. Return back to the center of your mat. Open the palms high. Take a deep inhale here. As you exhale, forward fold. Press into the heels, roll all the way up. Deep breath in, reach the arms out, up and overhead. And exhale to fold. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. Inhale up. This time, keep the arms lifted. Exhale, hips down. Chair pose. Find that activation, that fire. Encourage that to follow you through the rest of your day. Check the construction. Make sure that the knees are over the heels. Hips are reaching back. Navel in towards the spine. Keep feeling your hips gently sinking behind you. Ooh. Really feeling this one right now. Take another breath in. As you exhale, lower the hands either to the chair or down on either side of your feet. Step it back, downward facing. On the next inhale, lifting your right foot now, any height. So if you're in the chair, that may be a little bit more straight from plane of the crown all the way back through the heel. If you're against the floor, press both hands down. Press evenly into your left foot as well as you lift through your right heel. So notice where the body wants to collapse. and press against that inclination. Take another deep breath in. As you exhale, bring your right foot to the back of your right hand. If you are in the chair, taking this pose, bringing your hands now to the seat of the chair. Left heel reaches in, left toes press out. Bring the hands to your hips as you inhale to lift. So again, finding that placement of your feet, where your hips can somewhat find their way to the front of the room. You may require a little bit of a heel-toe action, so take that as needed. On the root system, at the base of your left heel, hips are sinking. On the next breath in, if you like, reach your arms high. Feel the stability in your legs of this pose. As you press down through your right foot on the inhale, press the foot through the floor, lengthen the whole front of the body, open to the ceiling. As you exhale, float the hands behind you, look down towards the ground. Keep lengthening and opening with your inhale, sweeping the arms back with the exhale. Just keep taking this with your breath, letting your breath be your metronome. One more time. And then bending into the knee, returning back to this warrior one pose. Bring the hands towards the hips and heel and toe your left foot up towards your right. Take your time, feel the texture underneath your feet. Inhale, gather the breath as you reach your arms high. On the exhale, slowly lower down. And start to melt into your knees, taking your way all the way back to a seated pose. And then reaching for your blanket. And if you're joining us in later stages of pregnancy, you are going to want to grab some pillows so that you have a little bit of height away from the ground. You'd want to lay against the ground more at an angle rather than flat. So take care if that is you. For the rest of us, we're going to take our blankets and open it up to a rough rectangle. So mine may be a little bigger than yours, no worries. We'll open this up towards a rectangle. And we're going to lay our torso down on top of it, head off onto the mat, and open the arms wide, bringing the knees gently to rest together, pressing into the outsides of the feet. And just feel the rhythm of your breath moving in and out of your lungs here. Opening the knees as wide as the hips and gliding the knees in towards your torso. A couple versions of happy baby here. If it's really challenging to reach your feet, if flexibility is not your friend in this case, just bring your hands right underneath your knees, flexing through your feet, so you're still guiding the legs down. If you can reach towards your feet today, reach towards the outer edges and lift your feet high to the ceiling. Lower your head down, whichever position you've chosen to take. Open through the knees and start to slowly press the knees down against the ground. Sometimes you may notice a little bit of a pull and a tension in the neck and in the chest. Just do your best to smooth that out. You want to feel the upper part of your back rooting down towards the ground constantly. To open the feet, open through the inseam of the thighs and feel the knees drawing down. You can gently rock from side to side if you like. And take a few more breaths here. And slowly release the hands from the legs. Release the legs down. Open the arms wide. And then feel the body slowly beginning to rest against the ground. And then taking this version of Shavasana, if you know that you would like your knees to be a little bit supported, you can remove the blanket from underneath your back, roll that up and put that underneath your knees. You may want to do the same and just put the blanket underneath your head. Whatever your body's calling for right now, make those necessary adjustments. And let each exhale draw the body a little bit further down. So we've been focusing on the inhale for the duration of the class. And now start to shift your focus towards the part of release. See if you can track that moment of release each time you breathe out. Just allow your body to become almost like a sensory experience. Your sight, your smell, your touch, all blending together. Move your body into this point of integration, digestion of the course of the class. Continuing to track the release of your exhale. Feeling the stability as it slowly leaves the body, knowing that another breath is waiting in the queue, like a wave rolling from the deep ocean to crash against the shore. Start to rock your head from side to side. Move through your toes, move through your fingers. Bring your knees towards the ceiling as you slowly tip over to one side, fetal position against the floor. Pressing down to come back up to a seated pose. Bringing your hands to heart center. Thanking yourself for this time that you spent stirring and cultivating your energy. Being ready to greet the day, whatever the day holds. Thank you so much for your practice. Namaste.